bridge pickup, IYV. Middle pickup, position rather. Neck. Alright, I'm just messing around there, but it's Patrick Ashe, author, musician, as you can hear, kind of. I'm just messing around. And I'm an elder millennial with the angst to go with it. And today I am doing a little demo, kind of first reaction out of the box of the IYV. I think it's the ILP-300, as well as the Hiwatt T20 tube amplifier series from Hiwatt. So kind of a dual review here, and it's very much out of the box, first kind of gut reaction. Just messing around, trying a few things, so hopefully that is helpful for you. I don't know if you can hear our child yelling in the other room, yeah, let me go ahead and I'll put this on standby. Let me go ahead and I'll start with the guitar, kind of the first half of it, and then we'll talk about the amp and play a little bit more. So you can try out both. That was with part of the appeal of this amp in particular was I really saw its potential as being a pedal platform. So that was kind of like my initial settings. I need to keep playing around with it. That just came in a couple days ago, and this actually just came in today. So this is very much a first reaction thing. All right, so let's talk about the guitar. So this is a guitar that you've probably heard a bit about. There are lots of reviews, lots of, I think first gained notice a couple of years ago. I saw some reviews in 2018, and it was kind of mixed. It was, some people said it was really great value, and others said like, the fit and finish, still not worth it. You're getting what you pay for and all that stuff. So it was a bit mixed, but I've been looking at it in like the last year, and many more people were saying they've upped their game. It really is a great value, and I just saw lots of positive reviews. And of course, the price point is very attractive. This, when I purchased it, I think it was $174. So very, very attractive price point if you get value, right? So let me just start out with saying there are kind of two camps I've noticed about this guitar. For the most part, people say it's a great value, and it may be on par with some Gibsons, like $1,000, $2,000 Gibsons. I kind of feel like I partially agree, partially disagree. Now the value, I'll say, like if we're rating things here, I will say he is a 5 out of 5. It really is. I think for expectations, I'll go into details in a minute as to why, but with things like fit and finish and the pickups and things like that, so I'll get into that as well. But overall, as far as like comparing it to Gibsons, I will say a little bit of background about me is that I've owned over 20 guitars. Actually, if you're including the ones I would say 25, 26, something like that. and I've been playing for over 20 years. Not that it's very apparent. You can hear that I'm often out of practice. Still am. But I've owned, I think, four Les Pauls, maybe 5, and I've had an SG and 2 Explorers, and 2 of the Les Pauls were customs from the 70s, and one of them was a Les Paul Studio from early 2010s, an SG from like 2013, I think it was, and an Explorer from 2015. And I'll say in the 2010 Gibsons, with all the QC issues that I personally experienced, both in the guitars I ordered, because I was like, oh, this is a great price for brand new. I saw that online and jumped on it, and then I liked the guitars, but they had various issues. The studio that I had at the Nut had a hell of a time. It basically needed to be recut or replaced or something because the nut just kept keeping it out of tune. Like if I bent the G string, it would just go out of tune and stay out of tune. And it was kind of the same way with the B string. And then there was the Explorer that, like, the wood was so pliant. When I took it into I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't figure out, like, why is this thing not staying in tune? Brought it into a guitar tech, and he actually put it over his workbench, and he pushed up and down on the neck with, like, a single finger, and he was like, this wood is so soft, like, no matter what we do to the guitar, it's not going to stay in tune. You basically have to, replace the neck. Anyway, so I ended up selling all that. So comparing this guitar to those, I would say it is on par. Because let's get into the details on this. So as far as the finish goes, let me see if I can give you a good look here. Overall looks good. I think a lot of people are saying, and I think those fingerprints are mine. Overall looks good. I think some people said it wasn't as nice. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. As the pictures they had seen. So, I mean, this is one I have. Hopefully that gives you a pretty good look at it. So it's like, are there nicer finishes? Perhaps, but I'm not complaining. Still miss them there. So it's looking pretty good. Here's the binding. I don't know if it's one that's taped over or actual binding or whatever. I am not an expert. I'm just a player. Hoping that other players find this helpful. I did notice one flaw around here, if you can notice, I think where they had painted over the binding a little bit. Right here in the front, right there in the corner. So, pretty small thing. But otherwise, I haven't noticed much in the way of, I think there's a little bit of a nick over here on that cavity cover. I saw a few little spots. They're like factory things, but nothing too alarming. I think some people have said pick guard's a little cheap. Like, I guess I might replace it. I don't know. And I will say, I'll get to the pickups in a minute. But the nut, when I was first tuning it up, it was getting those telltale little clinks you hear when you're winding it and it gets caught in the nut and all that. So I don't know if that's going to be a big issue or not, but there's also a little bit of a nick, I think, right there on the corner of the headstock, if you can see that around here. So a few little things, but nothing very alarming. I mean, I am not a luthier or a tech or anything, but after getting some of I'll chill this a little bit, the GHS Fast Fret, this definitely seemed to help a lot. I think one reviewer had said their neck felt like a desert when they took it out, and so yeah, that helped it a great deal. The strings felt, not sure what strings they're using, but they felt a little dry and out of it. So overall, good impressions. Did the sorted sounds a few minutes ago. We'll get back to that and play through some clean sounds. So my overall take on this guitar is that I think it is an excellent value. I think it's on par with like the LP style guitars that you see in like the $500 range, maybe as much as, certainly I think on par with some of the Gibsons of the last 10 years. I'll say that because so many QC issues with Gibson in recent years. I think some reviewers have said that these tuners up here are a little cheap. I think so far they seem serviceable. I don't know if I'll replace it or not, but seems pretty good. There's a little bit of, this is another finish thing. There's a little bit of a, I don't know if you can see it at all, but you can kind of feel a little bit of a line here. But yeah, so much of these little things are on par with Gibsons, both I bought and played in stores in the past 10 years. And even like, honestly, some of the lower, and I'm an Ibanez fan, if you can see my S over here, that's what I usually play. And some of the Ibanez I played, like the Indonesian made and the kind of $500 to $1,000 range. There was an Iceman I played one time. Like they had real the frets needed a polish, and it just didn't, the overall fit and finish just felt more like their entry-level things than the $500 to $1,000. So overall, pretty impressive. I won't say it's as good as Gibson in their heyday. I love like I think the 90s and early 2000s were really good. And I mean, there's always variation, of course. I'm sure someone could pipe in and say, I've got a 2016 that sounds awesome, or it stays in tune like a bell. So it always varies, right? We all have our own anecdotes. But so just generally speaking, I think, this is not quite on par with those like Les Paul customs I've had from the 70s. But I think it is impressive as far as its price point goes. So if you want, I think why I wanted this was like, I wanted something that was cheap so that I can feel comfortable. I haven't swapped out pickups before, so I was like, ooh, I could get some experience doing that. I mean, I have replaced bridges and tuners. I've actually drilled for tuners. I did that on if you can see my strap behind me, I drilled out that neck, but, or that headstock rather. But, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Definitely let me know if you have any questions. I'll play it some more here in a minute. So let me switch over to talking about the Hiwatt T20 here at about 13, we'll say that's the timestamp, 13 minutes, talk about Hiwatt T20. Oh, sorry. Well, some people complain about the guitar box. It does come in, the guitar rather does come in just like a plain old box. Had like the padded shroud and some of the foam inserts, but it did not have a box within a box, which, yeah, when I've sold guitars, I definitely do the box within a box for better protection, along with tons of back material. So some people were concerned about that, and it's true. So if you're worried about that, fortunately, it did not seem to affect things. All right, now I'll actually switch over to the Hiwatt T20 amp. All right, like this guitar, I was interested in something that was very high quality for the price. This one, I believe, is Korean. The company is Korean owned and made in Vietnam. I think that it's that's what's on the truss rod cover here. I think that's Korean, and I read somewhere it said something like Resonant Sound or Eternal Sounds or something like that. So if you know what it is, feel free. Please share. Maybe we'll go into Google Translate and figure it out. But this amp, I always been interested in Hiwatts, especially because, of course, obviously David Gilmour and Pete Townsend and even some of the modern players like Dave Kooning from Killers. Very awesome, clean sounds. I'm definitely hearing that. And I wanted a pedal platform because I really like some of my pedals that you heard earlier. Let me see if I can narrate this. So I'm using the Wampler Pinnacle Deluxe. You can see my settings. Hopefully that's work. That's a good angle. That's a Vic Audio. That's Tree of Life overdrive, which is, I think, based on the OCD, and I'm drawing a blank on the other one. That's, of course, the Electro Harmonics Deluxe Memory Man, most famous from Edge of You 2. And that's the the Analog Man mini chorus, which is based on the small clone series. Anyway, so those are my pedals and settings, and I will turn those off, and we'll try out things without that in a minute. But just overall impressions, I love the layout. It's a very intuitive setup. I mean, I kind of knew that before I bought it, but I just love, it's just master volume, spring reverb, love spring reverb, treble, mid, bass, of course. So it's straight, like, as you can see, I'm a Mesa fan, and I actually sold one of my Mesa amps to finance this, because it was about, I got almost twice as much money as I was going to buy on this. And I love Mesa cleans. Those the transatlantic that I had. Sorry, I'm, get excited talking about amps, but I love those shimmery, voxy kind of sounds from that particular amp. I think Mesa cleans in general I love. I've had a Mark III and a what else? Rectoverb. I loved Rectoverb. I want to get one again. Kind of regret selling that. And I've had a Mark 535. All fantastic amps. And a F100 back in the day, like 10 years ago. But all great amps, and of course they come with a bit of a price tag. And this, so far, I love the clean sounds, and the pedal platform, actually, versus some of the Mesas I have, I'd almost say this is a better, it really seems to, on the clean channel, just whatever settings I use, it kind of rolls with it. I don't have like the coloring that I worry about with, like on a Mesa amp, where you have to get the like the gain just right, at least in my experience, for it to really bring out the character of some of the pedals. This is very much subjective in my experience, but yeah, I love using the mid control. Has a lot of character that sounds fantastic with my Strat. Now, so those are the positives. Like, love the clean sounds. We'll hear it in a minute, and very straightforward. It's simple, takes pedals, excellent. I mean, I give that a 5 out of 5 right there. Now, the only kind of caution I had, and I'd seen some of this before I bought it, so I knew what I was getting into, is that the drive channel, it feels, I'll say, a little tacked on. We'll play that in a second, but it almost seems as though they wanted to have their those aforementioned things in an amp at a really, really nice price point. It's basically about $500, give or take. And I think it is a fantastic value. Like this guitar, both of them, an excellent value for the money. If you want to play this Hiwatt, to the best of my understanding, they basically just send the materials and the schematics or whatever, to overseas factory and labor, and that's how they keep their price low. But because of course a lot of the standard UK made Hiwatts are, I'll say, $2,500, something like that. So big price difference. But it sounds really nice. Like, I was using the distorted earlier. We'll kind of play other things, but the gain is I'll show you what I mean. I think it's kind of just like a standard 70s, maybe like early Black Sabbath, or maybe Zeppelin or something like that. Those kind of Brit sounds. But it's a very particular sound, and it kind of I'll show you what I mean. So, gonna turn the my distortion overdrive off. Let's go ahead and plugged in. Try the drive channel. So I feel like it's not a huge difference unless you turn up the overdrive. I am using it, you can probably see in the corner there, what they call the Weber MiniMass. So I think that does help with, that's the attenuator I went for, and it really seems to keep those volumes low for whatever amp you're using, and while not coloring the tone. So give a little shout out to that too. But as you can hear, I think I've got it on the 10 watt setting, you know, cuts between 10 and 20. What else? Still sounds pretty sweet. It's not heavily saturated, I would say. Let's go ahead. Speaking of the attenuator, turn it up a little bit. We'll go ahead and turn off the delay and the chorus, so this is just the amp. Oh, see, the delay actually has kind of a bit of a level on it that affects the pretty straightforward. It's chunky. It's definitely not heavy saturation. I'll put it on the highest setting. So it's nice. I like it, but it's one of those that kind of just has its character, and there's, unlike a Mesa where you can really do lots of different gain options, it's pretty straightforward. So it's fun. I'm sure I can do good things with it, but it is what it is. The other interesting thing, and this is just kind of the way the switches work, I'm sure an expert would know much more than me, but the overdrive gain actually works on both the clean and the distorted channel. That's interesting because they have the normal gain and the overdrive gain, and both of them affect the clean channel. And I think it's just the overdrive. That's what it seems like. But so making sure right now. Versus the this is on the normal channel. It's on the clean, not on the overdrive. Very interesting. Now I will say that's in a way a cool feature because I've already found that actually helps me on the voicing of like using my Wampler Pinnacle Deluxe. I don't know, like I've gotten some good sounds both with and without. Like if I put it like about 10 or 11 o'clock, it sounds really nice. Okay, so overall really good. Let me try. Let's just use clean tones. So we'll put the overdrive on gain on 0. So that was of course the bridge pickup. This is on the middle position. Go to neck position. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I like that. Good tones. Now I'm going to try, I use my delay and my chorus often. A little bit of gain here. Maybe too much. Turn the overdrive gain all the way down to normal. Again, it's just not what I'm used to. So that's my only little asterisk on it. So on the Hiwatt, I will say if you're looking for, I just love these clean sounds. Going back to the guitar, these pickups are not too bad. Probably will get maybe a tone writer or one of those other like Alnico 2s. I love Alnico 2s, but not bad. So if you're looking for clean tones, a pedal platform, I think it'd be great for that. I will say the distortion, either have some effects that you love, or if you can really just roll with the sound character you heard earlier. Not tons of saturation, not super heavy, but chunky, probably do some great 70s sounds. Then it could be a great amp. If you want lots of gain options, of course, your Mesas, your Marshalls, your plenty of other options out there. But I think this is, for the price, I think the tone per dollar, I think, is fantastic. So that's my view of it. That's my review of it. Let me know if you have any questions, any thoughts. I'm just a player, but I hope you've enjoyed this. Very good value on these two. So those are my thoughts. Take care. Oh, by the way, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Comment, and I'm Patrick Ash. See you.